Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Sea Otter exhibit. My name is Ariana, and I'm one of the naturalists here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. If you're wondering where the voice is coming from, I'm actually standing behind some of you all on the mezzanine level. Hello, everybody. And you all are here at the right place and at the right time, because in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by some of my friends from our otter care team. They'll be stepping inside the exhibit to do a feeding and training session for our otters. But before we get started, just a couple of things. I would love to direct your attention to the monitors up above the exhibit windows on both the first and second floors. I went ahead and I turned on some cameras for you all to give you a bird's eye view of all of the otter action. And for all of my friends hanging out in front of the mezzanine windows, feel free to take this moment to look around you, make sure we're not blocking the view of any of our fellow guests. Any little ones or folks in wheelchairs and mobility devices, feel free to usher them closer to the windows if you can. We do want everyone to have the best view possible. And lastly, you are more than welcome to take as many photos and videos of this feeding as you like. We just ask that you please turn off your flash. We are a flash-free facility. Your photos will turn out better, I promise, and our otters will definitely thank you for it. I'm going to go ahead and hop off microphone, but I will be back in just a couple of minutes. Well, hello and good afternoon again, everybody. For those of you that are just joining us, welcome to the Sea Otter exhibit. My name is Ariana, and I'm one of the naturalists here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And this afternoon, I'm being joined by my three friends from our otter care team, and they're going to be doing a feeding and training session for our four otters. Let me go ahead and introduce you to the girls. Let's start off with the otter that was on the far right-hand side with my friend Stephanie and is moving over to the far left-hand side. That is our blondest otter, Ivy. And then right in the middle, we have Ruby and Kit. And then all the way on the right-hand side with my friend Sarah is Rosa. And this training session utilizes a method called positive reinforcement, which means each of the otters are going to be asked to do different behaviors while on exhibit. And if they choose to do the behaviors they are asked, they will be rewarded or positively reinforced with some of their favorite foods. And there's one of those behaviors. See, Jessica was holding that little white buoy on a stick, and that is what we call a target. Each of our otters has been trained to touch their noses to that target or to follow it to different parts of the exhibit. And that target serves a few purposes, actually. One, it allows the otters to hold different positions for our animal care team to either get a good look at them, examine them, or to administer care. But it also allows the trainers to lead the otters to different parts of the exhibit so they can also administer care in different sections. And this is one of many training sessions we do with each and every one of our otters, and for a couple of reasons. One, otters eat a lot of food. They eat about 25% of their body weight every day. And if we were to eat like an otter, we would need to eat 20 large pizzas all by ourselves. And do I have any takers for that eating challenge? No? Just me? Ooh, we've seen a couple hands being raised over here. But pizza's not on the menu for otters. Instead, they feed on a wide variety of shellfish and invertebrates out in the wild. Animals without a backbone and a really hard shell. And here at the aquarium, we will give our otters a combination of clam, shrimp, and squid. And all of that food will be weighed out and placed inside each of those silver buckets attached to the trainer's hips. And another reason why we do these training sessions is to form very strong and trusting bonds between our otters and their caretakers here at the aquarium. Because we do want the otters to be voluntary participants in their care. So what you're seeing here today is actually a behind-the-scenes look at all of the work we do with each and every one of our otters. And I did mention that we do give the otters clam, shrimp, and squid while they're on exhibit. And out in the wild, otters are also known as tool users. They use their strong jaws, sharp teeth, and even rocks to break open the hard shells of their prey. But here at the aquarium, we will actually give them the soft and squishy parts of their food while they're on exhibit, because we learned the hard way that whenever we did give the otters their food with the shell still on, their favorite tool ended up being the exhibit windows you're looking through. Yep, they ended up using that soft acrylic as a tool, and all of those hard shells and rocks ended up scratching that acrylic window, and it made it hard for people to see inside the exhibit, and it also made window maintenance very difficult for us. So we learned our lesson, and we'll give them the soft and squishy parts of their food while they're on exhibit, but we still want them to practice that natural foraging and feeding behavior while they're on exhibit. That is where their enrichments come in. For my friends hanging out on the first floor of this exhibit, you may be noticing some of those enrichment items down there. I'm talking about those toys. I see a couple rings being floating in the exhibit there. And each of those items help keep the otters both physically and mentally stimulated while they're on exhibit. But it also allows the otters to practice that natural feeding behavior without damaging the windows. Those toys will be filled with some of that food, which will allow the otters to practice that feeding behavior. And to satisfy the otters' crunch craving, we will also give them ice. Since they're not crunching through a shell on exhibit, we'll go ahead and give them that ice to chew on. But another enrichment we might give our otters is something we like to call ice molds, but I like to call them otter pops. It's essentially pieces of their food frozen in ice blocks, and the otters are allowed to bang that up against the glass to their heart's content without damaging the windows, while getting that nice satisfying crunch out of the deal. And all 5 of our otters have been deemed non-releasable by U.S. Fish and Wildlife, but here at the aquarium they have 2 very important jobs. While they're on exhibit like today, they are ambassadors for their species out in the wild. When they're behind the scenes, they will also be surrogate or foster moms to any rescue otters that come through our Sea Otter Rescue program. If you do want to learn more about Sea Otter Rescue, I highly recommend heading across the way to the auditorium and catch Luna, a sea otter story this afternoon at 2:30. And then we saw some more of that target behavior over on the right-hand side. You saw Jessica was holding that target again and asked one of our otters to put their paws up on a wall. And that is what we call a husbandry or animal care behavior. Those are behaviors we have the otters do to help them with their day-to-day care. There may be times where we do need to examine the otters' bodies to make sure that they are nice and healthy and don't have any injuries. But it also allows us to check the pockets that our otters have in their armpits. Yep, you heard me right. Sea otters do have pockets. Since their skin is very loose and baggy, they actually have a little fold of skin under their arm that they'll use as a pocket. And our exhibit otters love to hide little treasures in there. For example, they like to hide toys, pieces of food, and ice. But we want to make sure that they're not hiding anything that they shouldn't have while on exhibit. You can see 2 of our other otters were asked to come out of the water as well. They're hanging out with Stephanie. And by having the otters come out of the water is a good area we like to have the otters go to either examine them outside of the water or to administer care to them. And you may notice one of our otters might get a syringe filled with a delicious clam slurry, and that is yet another husbandry or animal care behavior we have the otters do. because we do want the otters to get used to seeing different items that will be used in their care here at the aquarium. So that is where these training sessions come in. And during these sessions, when we use those tools, that helps desensitize the otters. That way they're used to seeing those different different items that are used on and off exhibit. That way when the time comes for us to either administer care or examine them, they can do so in a nice stress-free environment. But y'all are seeing that last big handful of food given to the otters to mark the end of the training session for a job well done. My friends are going to go ahead and head back behind the scenes to do some cleanup. And I'm going to go ahead and hop off microphone. But once again, my name is Ariana. If you do have any questions about our otters, the training session, or if you want to know where we can catch more otter fun here at the aquarium, feel free to come up and see me. Once again, my name is Ariana. And if you are ready to move on and continue exploring, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you continue to have an otterly awesome day here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.